Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and we are continuing on with Chapter 4.1 about water. Our next topic is glaciers in Section 413. So, our objectives today are to explain how glaciers form, analyze how glaciers contribute to the water cycle, and contrast the two main types of glaciers. So, the first thing I want to focus on is topographic evidence of glaciers. So, how do we know a glacier has been in an area? One thing you might see are deep ravines, things like gorges. That is evidence. Another is that ridges, hills, and slopes are smooth with signs of erosion. So these are drumlins. These are very smooth hills. You might even find areas where there's rock that is exposed that has scrapes along it from material that was in the glacier that scraped the rock. Also, large amounts of bedrock material of varying sizes strewn about where the glacier used to be. So down here, this is that glacial till, just very random and all over the place. And we see glaciers in the background still. Also, U-shaped valleys, especially here in Western New York. This is a particular feature that we have. Here's this nice U-shaped valley. You can also see the very smooth, rounded topography in this picture. Now, there are two types of glaciers. There's a continental glacier. This is a glacier that covers a large area of land in a continuous sheet. So these are generally found in very like high altitude areas. You're going to find these in the Arctic and the Antarctic. How they form at high altitudes or in polar regions where it snows all year round. This is where you're going to find these forming. The snow partially melts, compacts, and recrystallizes to form firn. Firn is a very grainy kind of ice. And then there's also further compaction, and the ice will go from this white color that has a lot of air into it to actually a blue color. They cover a large area of land in a continuous sheet and move from a central region in all directions. So these are huge ice sheets. And in the case of uh, Antarctica, they will cover the whole continent. In the case of Greenland, they can cover most of an island. Then there are valley glaciers. These are a long, narrow U-shaped mass of ice that takes shape and ice moves down a mountain and through a valley area. So here in the background, you can see valley glaciers. You can see that the land does not have glaciers all over it, so that's not a continental glacier. How they form? Basically the same way as continental glaciers, but smaller. They take shape as they move down a mountain and through a valley area. So these basically they slide down the valley. They're like a slow moving stream or river of ice. And they form a long, narrow U-shaped mass of ice. That's why they form those U-shaped valleys, because they dig out everything as they go, making a nice, smooth U shape, which we commonly actually see in our area. That's one of the types of evidence that has been left that this area was glaciated in Western New York. Also, that's where our gravel and things like that also come from are from the glaciers. And also in this picture, you can see that till down here, just those random chunks of bedrock that have been left by the glaciers. So our objectives, explain how glaciers form, analyze how glaciers contribute to the water cycle. Actually, you'll be doing that on a worksheet in class, and contrast the two main types of glaciers. So don't forget your 5 questions, and I will be back with more about water.